It is time for another SoFi stock update, and we have some very exciting things to go over, some very weird news that came out today, and a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you guys are new here, you definitely want to stick around a while, maybe help you make some money, or at least clarify a lot that is going on in the markets that can confuse a lot of people, justifiably so. There's a lot going on, from the Fed, from a war, from inflation, China locking down cities. We got to talk about it. Let's get into it. So first and foremost, SoFi stock is up 0.67% today. Not a huge day, it's not a down day, so it's positive overall. Now, SoFi stock is going to revolve around what the Fed does. I've went over this. The Fed and fintech go hand in hand. That's already known. You guys already know that. So nothing really changed with the Fed. Nothing got worse. Nothing got better. So you didn't see a big move today. Now, once we do see the shorts forced to cover on a broad scale, once you see either COVID in China go away, which is probably the least of potentially explosive catalysts for a market-wide short squeeze that we will see, but nevertheless, it is a possible bullish catalyst for the markets. The Fed becoming more dovish, maybe saying, hey, we're going to relax a while, the data's coming in okay, we don't have to balls to the walls, push the brakes on the economy and put us into a recession. That's going to be a very bullish thing. But the biggest thing here in the short term is going to be if the war in Ukraine comes to an end. That's going to be a fundamental change to the markets, something we have not seen in a long time that will be positive. And I think that will cause a lot of shorts to get out of those short positions. But until something like that happens, I really don't expect a big move to the upside or the downside. But what I will tell you is that the insiders of SoFi have been buying boatloads of SoFi stock. I believe it's 250 million net bought shares in the past 3 months. That's a very large amount, and that should put your mind at somewhat ease when you're buying SoFi stock at these levels. Like, hey, it's probably a good investment if the people that run the company, that see the numbers coming in on their balance sheets on a day-to-day basis, they see the new users signing up, the loans that are going out, etc. It's probably a safe bet, or a good bet in my personal opinion. Nothing's really a safe bet in the markets to buy SoFi stock at these levels, at these depressed levels. If people that have hundreds of thousands and millions of shares, like Anthony Noto has 3 million shares, yet he's buying millions of dollars worth of additional shares, if they're doing that, probably a safe bet. I probably can say that. I don't like to, though, say anything is safe in the markets, because nothing is ultimately safe in the markets. Wow, that was some heartburn right there. Okay, let's get into some of the data that you guys need to know and some of the news for the day. Wow, oh, that sucked. It says Russian oligarch Roman Amarov, Ukraine peace negotiator, suffers symptoms of suspected poisoning, as per Wall Street Journal. Now, this is pretty interesting, because we're starting to get some news that the peace negotiations are, going the right direction. You've seen last night, Ukraine and Russian presidents agreed to meet face to face, and then this comes out. Now, some people are talking about this could be the false flag operation that essentially Russia has been waiting for to do something more dramatic, like possibly launch a nuclear weapon or possibly a chemical attack or something, saying, hey, you tried to kill our people, now, our state is threatened, now we got to use deadlier force. Who knows if that's actually going to happen? That's just kind of what investors are saying as far as this. That's really the big piece of news for the day. You do have a lot of stocks that are squeezing across the board. The cannabis sector does have those important votes today, so it'll be exciting to see what happens with that. Those stocks are down. I know the trade that I made, I got out of it since, but made like 150% profit on it. The Cron trade, they're down like 7% today. So who knows if that's actually going to pick up. I would be watching for that. But a lot of other stocks like QuantumScape, as well as what's the computer part? Newegg, that one was up like 40% today. AMC, a lot of stocks are going kind of crazy today. So that's really what is dominating a lot of the headlines and market participants' attention. Not too much is actually going on as far as news besides that poisoning. That's what really dropped the markets in a substantial way today as well. There was one big drop right in here. This was the poisoning news. We dropped straight down, came back up, kind of melted down, and now we've been kind of just coming up ever since that. So watch to see how this situation does evolve overnight. That's going to be the most important thing, because if you do see that as a reason to escalate the situation, it's not going to be a good thing at all. And that's really the biggest piece of news that I could give you. As well as that, watch the federal funds rate, Fed rate monitor tool. You guys can see the probability of a 0.5% rate hike is at 74.9% for May. This probability continues to go up. Stock market continues to go up as well. That's probably not a good sign. It probably means we do have some pain here to come sometime in the future. So just keep that in mind. I'm not a fortune teller here. Maybe the markets are pricing in this 0.5% rate hike, but I have not seen too many people talk about it. And that's what the federal funds rate is actually projecting as of right now. A 0.5% rate hike coming on that May 4th meeting. So that's going to be very important, and that definitely doesn't help SoFi stock to go through a rally to see more rate hikes priced into the markets almost on a daily basis at this point. You really don't see the federal funds rate projection going down anytime soon. So keep that in mind. That does make for a big possible bullish reversal when that actually does happen, because inevitably it will. The Fed will change their stance once the economy does head into a recession, or at least close to a recession. Now, as far as some of the data points coming out, you do have a couple Fed speakers that do speak tomorrow, like Fed Williams. He speaks. But you do have on Wednesday, I believe you have the OPEC meeting. That will affect commodities and really oil. And then you do have the ADP non-farm payroll employment change. And that's very important. That's going to be a high volatility expected catalyst, so I will be watching for that on Wednesday. And then you do have GDP quarter over quarter for Q4. GDP numbers are going to be a little bit more important right now where we currently are in the markets, just because if GDP starts to come down, then you're running the risk of seeing that recession, and that's what the markets are really holding on to and paying attention to. As soon as Fed Jerome Powell at the last meeting said, we really see a small chance of going into a recession, the market started to rally, and they have not looked back ever since. But does that mean that we're not going to go into a recession, that there won't be recession fears and the stock market will not come down? Absolutely not. That is just pure bullshit. If somebody says, yeah, the Fed said it's not going to happen, so it's not going to happen, we're not going to see a recession, the markets will not freak out over that. You got to question those people, because that is not the case. The Fed should have been raising rates a year ago. They haven't. So take it with a grain of salt, but that is potentially another big fear catalyst that could be coming on the near term horizon. And then you do have initial jobless claims, and that does come out on, what day is this? Is this Thursday? That comes out on Thursday. That's going to be another very important one. Some more Fed speakers as well on Thursday. And then that big data point, which is going to be non-farm payrolls at 8:30, and then another unemployment rate data point on Friday, as well as PCE data does come out on Friday as well. And that's really the Fed's gauge for inflation. So that's really the important things to know as far as what's going to be happening the rest of this week, because this market is going to revolve around headlines, news, which are kind of the same thing, and data points that do come out. So just keep that in mind, guys. It's not, definitive that something is going to happen and go wrong, the markets are going to crash, nothing like that, but it is possible, and something you definitely do have to have at least on your radar. Now let's get into what else do we have to cover here? The SoFi short interest data. This is something that is pretty interesting, because as SoFi stock has continued to go down, shorts have just continued to pile on their short positions. Literally unrelenting. That's just what they have been doing. Doesn't even matter what the business is doing, what the insiders are doing. None of that. they continue to short the stock, with the short interest of free float now at 17.37%. Interesting, huh? Insiders can be buying the stock. Things look great for SoFi besides the Fed. And it's a green light to short the stock into oblivion. Who knows? Eventually, they will be forced to cover. That is what happens. We already know that shorts eventually have to cover. Now, 125.19 million shares that are currently sold short, cost bar max of 3.74%, utilization of 100%, as well as a days to cover at 3. So like I've called out many times, as the short interest has went up, the share price has went down. So that's telling you, I think there is a lack of sellers. I think the sellers are really gone out of SoFi stock, and that's definitely a good thing. Because ultimately, once the shorts get covered, we're going to go back up to those prices. That's pretty much a guarantee, especially as the business does continue to improve. Let's see if any new insiders have bought positions in SoFi, and it's not looking like any brand new positions as of right now. But nevertheless, lots of activity that has went in to buy SoFi stock here in just the last couple of weeks. And like I said, people that already own a lot of SoFi are buying more SoFi. Like, come on, that's definitely a good sign right there. Now, is that pretty much all? I believe that's pretty much it. I'm going to be watching this right here. This is really the credit spread between the 2 and 10-year Treasury bond. And that's very important to watch because historically, when you go under this black line, you always head into a recession. And we are not looking so good as far as that situation is concerned, as 0.18 is the spread here. And if we continue to come down, that's going to add more bearish pressure on the markets as well, because recession, not good for stocks. So that's basically going to be all for this video. Let's go ahead and actually, I don't want to leave this out. Take a look at the option activity, and you're looking at 3 orders totaling $371.61 thousand, positive order value of 100%. So option buyers still very bullish on SoFi stock. Nothing has really changed in that regard. And quick look at the technicals. SoFi stock. We need to get above $10 per share. We've slowly been melting down ever since we did get rejected at $10 per share. The Bollinger Band, still that 20-day simple moving average, is going to be a very, very key level. If we can break out above that, that's when things are going to get a little bit crazy for SoFi stock, especially when you're looking at a short interest as high as SoFi's 17%. You could be looking at an explosive move to the upside. I don't know if it'll be around next earnings. I don't know if it'll be sooner than that, but eventually we will break out above these key resistance levels. The volume for the day is at 42.5 million, lower than what we've seen over the past couple of months. So that's also a good thing that we're green. 0.83% positive, and the volume is lower. That means you can imagine when the volume comes into the stock, you will definitely see a lot of bullish activity. So that is going to be all for this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, as well as source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Get yourself those free stocks, links down below in the description with Moomoo. Sign up, deposit $1, get 3 free stocks, as well as an additional free share of NEO upon your $1 deposit clearing. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.